I think Sumanth made this brilliant point about work from home. And, one of our members is in the audience stream, Saraswati Iyer, says, anyway, artificial intelligence will now be the deciding factor. Keep learning. It's going to be a survival of the fittest. On the one hand, you're talking about AI. You're talking about being able to, at least in some jobs, particularly the software technology sort of space, you can work from home. I can be working for a Karnataka company from Delhi. How are you going to force me to learn Kannada? And if I'm the best person for the job, why should that company give up that space to somebody else? Mithilesh?
Yes, so you have the fair point, and actually, I also work in a prominent IT company in Bengaluru, and yeah, so I've been there for
And
more
you
than
and you
15 years.
and hang on, do you consider yourself a local in
Uh,
quotes?
so partially local and partially outsider. So it's a mix of both. So at
Okay.
the end of the day, I'm proud Indian. Yeah, I have learned Kannada, but that's a different aspect. But coming to the point, my point is that in IT industry, right? I was working in different state, and I was pulled in by one of the prominent IT company. Based on the interview, multiple people were there, and I was selected because I was better. So
Mhm.
how you justify this? Suppose for particular given role, I work in a AI space where talent is very rare. So in that case, how will you find the local talent? So again, I'll come to our fundamental point. It's a political decision, and it's not practical and it's not feasible. So while I was on live on this show, there was twice
Yeah.
a power fluctuation. So every hour there is 4 to 5 times power fluctuation. Even I have a backup at my home. It takes 15 seconds to come back live.
Yeah.
This has changed due to the policies of the current government, and I'm not against or for any political party. We support both on issue basis, but this power issue and the infrastructure issue that we are fighting for a small road on outer ring road or any IT area,
Yeah.
it's very critical, and sorry to say that
I want to pick
it's a very bad in entire India. I'll suggest, I'll request honorable member from the governing party to please look into the core issues, that are civic
Okay,
issues that's plaguing Bangalore. Yeah.
I want to pick up 2 points you made. One, you made the point about the electricity that went and came back while you were on the show live. You made the point about potholes. You made the point about road repairs. But you also said I'm partially local, I'm partially an outsider. Now, Surabhi first, and then Nizam, and then we'll come back to Sanjay. That is how many people are in many places. We are in Delhi. Delhi was built as a city of refugees. So much of Delhi has residential colonies to those who, during partition, had to give up everything that they owned on the other side of the border, what is now Pakistan, and come here with nothing. But I am from one such family, but I'm a proud Dilli wali. But above all, I'm a proud Indian, just like Mithilesh. Now, why are we trying to break those identities? We're a khichdi. We're a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and it's lovely. It's what makes us unique. It's what makes our cities magical. What are we trying to change here?
I think, that's the core of the question, Barkha, which is when you're in Delhi and you hear an auto wala speaking in Delhi in Hindi, and that conversation goes on, there's just some familiarity there. What does language ensure for? It ensures for some familiarity, some belonging. And I don't think that there are right and wrong, strict right and wrongs in this conversation. This land has allowed us to have multiple identities, multiple faiths, multiple languages throughout. But I think that the cry that you're hearing from Bengaluru, and which you have heard, of course, before from Mumbai and other cities also, is that when we become a little too cosmopolitan, somewhere we realize, what about my language? I'd like to hold on to it. Whether these government policies, whether these sort of, as I said before, this punitive sort of action is going to actually solve the problem, I don't believe so. I'll speak for a minute as a Kannadiga, as a young girl who had an organization called Kannada on Campus, helping my co-students from other states learn Kannada. There is some, this cry that the Kannadigas are making is not do not take it as just shallow. There is some loss of identity that we hope to share with everybody else also. Having said that, I would like to sort of instate the point that I've been making, which is that the Congress government's method of doing this has been very suspicious. Just now, there has been a tweet from Mr. Priyank Karge, the Minister of ITBT here in Karnataka, saying that we've already always taken ministry along and we will do so in this. The question comes across is, why did you do this in such a rushed manner? If you are always going to take industry along, industry has a point. They have very valid points. Why did you not sit across the table with them? Which all draws us to the point that this was never intended to be a solution. This was never intended to be a well thought out policy. It was a means to distract from the fact that what Mithilesh spoke about. Bengaluru has not seen one road development in the last 15 months because there is no money for development, says the
Okay. Let me put that to Nizam in just a moment, but to Sanjay, I want to try and argue this from the other side for just a moment. While we are all for sort of the inclusive, heterogeneous diversity that makes our country what it is, the argument is being made by both the Congress and the BJP. And in the draft legislation, there is a reference to acquisition of land by private companies, big acquisition of land, local communities somewhat pushed out. Two, we do see a certain kind of homogenized, I don't want to say Hindi, I would say westernized culture, the mall culture, the malls coming and flattening sort of the richness or the diversity of subcultures of India. Is it so wrong? As Surabhi asks, I can speak in Hindi to an auto wala in Delhi, I can speak in Punjabi to an auto wala in Chandigarh. But for people to expect their own language also to be predominant in their home state, is that wrong? Is it wrong to say, okay, let us have a little bit of our roots here? I don't know that it should translate into 50% and 70%, quotas. But I think as a point of cultural resentment, there might be some legitimacy in it.
Well, as somebody who has a nodding acquaintance with about 7 or 8 languages, I can tell you that nothing binds a person more than the ability to speak a language. In the Supreme Court, we have judges who speak a lot of languages. And sometimes part of my advocacy is to slip into their language, if I know it. I don't think it's particularly wrong. And I've seen a similar situation happen in Bombay as well. Bombay became Mumbai. And it was the anti-Gujarati feeling which split the erstwhile state of Bombay into Maharashtra and Gujarat. So yes, if you ignore the local language, or worse, you make it feel like a subaltern or a slave language, saying that now we dominate here, we own this place, then you will definitely have resentment. So I was quite interested in asking my co-panelist with the flickering light, Kannada Vartada, Eshtu Vartade, or do you reserve it only for auto drivers and your maid servants?
Before Mithilesh answers, can you explain what you asked him for our audience?
I asked him, do you speak Kannada? And how much do you speak?
Mithilesh?
Have you seen a Kannada film, for instance?
Mithilesh, would you like to respond?
Yeah, I have seen multiple Kannada films, but with subtitles, and because it's hard to catch the fast moving language. But obviously, I swalpa bartula I can speak Kannada, and recently I started the script lesson from Kannada Prasad Parishad, and yeah, I'm halfway to the mark, and I'll be able to read.
Where are you? Which is your home state? Otherwise,
it's Delhi.
Okay.
Sanjay? Just 1 minute. One more confession. While I can speak Kannada, I can't read or write it, the language. So
yeah, it's like me and Punjabi. It's like me and Punjabi. I can't read the Gurmukhi script. I can speak the language. This happens.
It happens.
So what did Mithilesh's answer tell you? By the way, you asked him a question. What did it tell you?
Mithilesh's answer told me that he was not somebody who reserved it only for the autowala, or who tried to speak it in a tone of command. It is one more experience. Yet all language is an arc where through gleams that untraveled world, whose margin forever fades as I move.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when you
Okay.
speak a language, you learn a culture.
No, of course. But then can you police that? You see, that's the question. Sorry, Surabhi, I have to give Nizam a chance. Let me come to you after that, and to Sumanth also. Nizam sir, please.
See, Barkha, the way Mr. Sanjay says and the way Mithilesh answered, if you come and actually live in Bangalore for about a week's time, you would understand the differences that is cropping up. You know, the basically the North Indian crowd basically says that Hindi national language है, आप हमसे बात करना है तो आप हिंदी सीख के बात करो. हम कन्नड़ नहीं आता है, ये कन्नड़ा भी नहीं बोलते हैं, कन्नड़ नहीं आता है, हमें हिंदी में बात करो, हम हिंदी नेशनल लैंग्वेज है. That resentment of even acknowledging the local language seems to be a larger issue within the population across in Bangalore, basically Bangalore. North, the various other parts of Karnataka does speak Hindi, Kannada, both languages. But the issue is, you know, that when you say I don't want to learn Kannada, I don't want to acknowledge the local culture, seems to become a bigger problem within the cosmopolitan. We have always been welcoming people from across the country. Like the kind of Hindi I speak, मुझे बहुत अच्छी हिंदी आती है, मैं उसमें बात करता हूँ, मैं बहुत सारे हिंदी डिबेट्स में जाता हूँ, लेकिन मैं कन्नड़ा भी आती है, मैं यहाँ से पढ़ा लिखा हूँ, यहाँ पे पैदा हुआ हूँ. The question, how do you get that balance within the ecosystem, is that what we are saying is we will not say that, you know, if you are a AI professional, you are a software coder, you are a, you know, project manager, you are a super you know, aeronautical engineer. I'm not saying we want to take away your jobs. I think that this basic misunderstanding that we want to take everything away from the people, it's wrong. What we are saying
what will happen? But what will happen? While I agree with you on the diversity of language and you know, the fact that Hindi should not be imposed on no language should be imposed. If Hindi should not be imposed, nor should any language. Now, let me read out another comment from Prasad. Barkha, let's not force people to speak any language. Look at Mumbai and Hyderabad, mixed cosmopolitan languages emerged, which is fun as well as distinctive of the geographical culture. Let's allow that. Sumanth, do you want to just jump in there? That's a very interesting point.
One second.
Okay, okay. Go ahead.
Barkha, Bangalore is the only state. If you know any language from the country, you just know Assami, you can live here. If you know Hindi, you can live here. If you know only Tamil, you can live here. If you know Telugu, you can live here. You know only Malayalam, you can live here. You just need to know one language from this country to basically make a living and live in Bangalore. That's the kind of diversity that we have in Bangalore.
Okay,
and if we cannot really blame the government here, we are only saying the first right. We're saying the first right.
See, I want people to read books, but they don't read books, they read Instagram. Can I pass a law saying you have to read books? It is like that. I understand the sentiment. I don't agree with the solution. If you see the difference, right? I will fight with every 20-year-old I know ki aapne last kitab kya padhi. But I can't pass a law saying you have to read a book. So there might be a basis of a sentiment, but you cannot police people into choices. However, Sumanth, you live in Tamil Nadu. Tamil Nadu was born from a language movement, right? So when we talk about criticizing the linguistic, what we're now calling the linguistic chauvinism, the linguistic populism of Siddaramaiah, we're criticizing him, we're criticizing the BJP for, in a rare instance, supporting the ruling party, in this case, the Congress. Tamil Nadu was born from the womb of a language movement.
Barkha, Tamil Nadu, ironically, yes. I mean, the language movement has been very strong. But you must remember that the Dravidian movement actually supported the British against they were against the idea of independence, and they were, fervently huge supporters of the English language, which has actually served us extremely well in Tamil Nadu. And I can perhaps extend an open invitation to all those firms who want to relocate. Please come to Hosur, which is exactly 25 kilometers from Electronic City, and set up shop. Hosur is expanding rapidly.
But Sumanth, if they came and spoke Hindi there, it would not work, no?
Yeah. No,
No,
people are speaking
honestly.
Hindi all over Tamil Nadu. Look, Barkha, the point really is that those days are over. And I am really shocked that the Congress government in Karnataka does not seem to realize that this is going back to the 1970s or 80s. You cannot force employment. Okay, let me ask you a question. Now, let's say somebody is employed in a particular job. He does not know to read or write Kannada. He writes the exam and he fails. So he gets fired. Now, what are we talking about? The man may be excellent at his job. His company is happy with him. Now, I mean, all of this has to be thought through. I think that this is, like I said, Barkha, I'm fairly confident that these are just games of which the politicians are playing, to show that they are, more pro Kannada than the other party and so on. I don't think they have any intention of
So
implementing.
basically, you think it'll amount to nothing? They will drag this till some court says not possible.
Yeah, and then they will
I
say that we tried so hard to get it implemented. Like
okay.
the Tamil Nadu, the government equivalent, I can share with you. They will pass resolutions banning NEET in the assembly, knowing that they have no power to ban NEET. So stuff like this is something which all political parties take up. It is to sort of and to keep the masses distracted, and then they're going on an assumption that the people are gullible and they will fall for it. And on the track
Okay.
record of what they've seen, people have fallen for it multiple times and continue to fall for it.
Okay, so Surabhi, and then last comment. Surabhi.
As Sumanth sir has said, this is a distraction. I completely agree with that. It's a distraction, and what is it a distraction from? Barkha, you've said this 3 times that in principle we are in agreement. The bill is yet to be completely thoroughly examined, and therefore while the principle of we need to ensure local culture, local language, and local people are protected, we will have a thorough study of the bill and get back with our comments. That's number one. Sumanth sir said that this is a distraction. This is a distraction not for the masses, sir. This is a distraction for the media. This is a distraction for Twitter. This is a distraction for the English-speaking people, because Siddaramaiah government does not want it to come out that they are now struggling in the assembly. There is a scam of 187 crore that the chief minister has accepted on ground of the assembly. They don't want the fact that a site has been allocated in a wrong manner to the chief minister himself. The government is shaky. That is what they are distracting from. And I would request all of my friends everywhere on Twitter, elsewhere, to not get distracted by this. The second thing I want to say, Barkha, is just that in Bengaluru, we learn everything from Python to Java to, people come from Kerala. A lot of Malayalis now, by the way. Before it was a lot of Tamilians, and now we have North Indians as well. One more language is not going to mean that there is, a dearth of any sort of imposition. But again,
I think we all agree that
I come back to
out
the
of
point
this.
on. Yeah, absolutely. No, I'm with you.
I
personally.
am against the state telling anybody what to eat,
Absolutely.
how to dress, what language to speak. This has to be without state power. It has to flow organically from within
The
society.
problem that has happened in the last 2-3 years before the Congress came into power in their own election campaigns is that they have been using language as a divisive issue very clearly. The center versus state argument, this Kannadigas versus non-Kannadigas argument. This is Congress's ploy to distract people from the real issues, and this is also Congress's sort of folly that they don't want to address the real issues. If you were truly wanting to give Kannadigas a leg up, who is your Rajya Sabha MP from the Congress here? Ajay Makan. What Kannada does he speak? I'd like to know.